Hi everyone, so it's been a while since I've done one of these. Sorry about being a bit off radar. It's been quite busy and it's been really picking up, so great news if you're a job seeker. And that's kind of what I wanted to cover, is to get a bit of an update on things. So, to give you a bit of a flavour, this is the stack of jobs that I'm handling at the moment. Why do I show that? Twofold really. A lot of job seekers I'm talking to at the moment are thinking the market's not in their favour, it's not a great time to look, pandemic's still on, there's a lot of concern going on. The second one is with employers, because we're seeing so many more instructions just being pushed out to agencies for support, or businesses actually genuinely struggling to find the talent that they need. And some of them are comparing it to last year if they were hiring. They go, oh, it was so easy then. You know, we had a great example. We had an agency in London looking for SEO talent, and they came out in October last year, and within I think it was 72 hours we had them 6 people really well qualified, ready to go, and there was a problem. They didn't move it forward, so they basically sat on it. Now they've sorted out their internal politics that has meant they can go ahead with those hires again, and we're now a week and we haven't got anybody to them. And it's not that we've changed, it's that the market's changed, and the candidates that we're approaching have either landed new work, not interested in looking, or the talent just isn't available to the caliber and skills that the people are looking for here. So really the dynamics of the market has shifted, and to say choice is back on the menu for job seekers is really an understatement. I mean, there's almost too much to offer right now. And that goes across most levels of the career spectrum. The really senior stuff's a little bit thin on the ground still, but mid-management, junior roles, stuff like that, seems to be a lot out there. And that's covering across all the digital marketing and data verticals that my team cover. But we're also seeing it echoed across the rest of Blue Pelican as an agency and all the other divisions that are out there. Things like government stuff's a little bit procrastinated, but pharmaceuticals really good, legal's really good, technology's really busy as well. So generally speaking, it is a seller's market, as in the candidates really in control right now. And that's despite things like IR35 on the horizon and challenges there. So what's really, I suppose, sparked this? Well, last year, most of the big employer brands, the companies that are recognised for really consistently and continued hiring throughout a year with really big recruitment budgets, pretty much put the year on pause. They reviewed internally, they restructured and slimlined and streamlined and shaped themselves up for the future. They removed their recruitment budgets because they didn't see that they were going to be spending and doing that kind of thing. But this year, from January, it's actually December last year, we saw a raft of stuff really kick off with some of the big boys. Then January kicks in new budgets and there's a step up again. And now we're on the 19th of March, and we're anticipating come April, when new budgets for the rest are put out, that we're going to see another kick forward, especially with the rollout of the vaccine plan and the expectation of doors opening to other industries and stuff like that. There's an expectation there'll be a really strong bounce back. So this is all great news for the job seeker. The challenge for the employer is the choice that was there last year when that massive migration happened, and you'd shove a job out and you'd be fearful of managing a response of 300, 400, 500 up to the thousands of applicants. That isn't happening anymore. In fact, you'd be lucky to get a shortlist of 2, 3, 4 people that are actually a good match to the role you're looking for, and that's in London, out of London, it doesn't really matter. So it's a real problem for a lot of businesses. In fact, we've got some absolutely plum opportunities kicking around that normally we'd have no problem whatsoever finding a shortlist for, and we've got no interest. We've got nobody that's really, they either meet the expectations of the business, can actually have the skills for it, or if they do have the skills for it and it lines up well, there's no interest in taking the role on or moving to it. And there's nothing wrong with the business, it's just the timing. And why is the timing important? Well, there's an old recruitment stat in a lot of training stuff that's thrown around saying that roughly 10% of a workforce is either actively looking for new work or is open-minded to hearing about new opportunities proactively put to them and then exploring those opportunities. So last year, with so many people migrating all at once, all over a stage of like 3 or 4 months, there is now a large cross-section of the employment base that ultimately are still pretty new in their jobs. We're talking sub 1 year. And those people a lot of them aren't interested in looking at new things. They're happy, they're embedded where they are, they've just got to learn the ropes of that, they've gone through remote onboarding and all the pain of all those bits and pieces, and they're happy staying where they are for now. So they're not open to listening to stuff and hearing of new things out there. In addition to that, we've got challenges around the whole visa situation, the change to visa rules. So although the government website makes it look like an absolute doddle, I'm hearing that a lot of employers saying that it's prohibitively expensive, up to £7,000 to get a visa sorted out. So many of them are shying away from wanting to investigate that or go down that avenue, which means they're really restricted to people that have got the residency visas already, or are just UK domicile. They don't have a problem with moving jobs within the UK. But effectively the rest of the world is off limits because the rest of the world needs a visa. Doesn't matter if you're EU or not now. So it's meant that the ecosystem has shrunk significantly. Short to mid-term, for the UK and for UK employment, that's great because it means we're going to be really short on people but long on opportunities for them. In the long term, it could be a challenge because there's some interesting hubs developed over in the Netherlands, in Germany and in France, where they're proactively targeting talent that can move over, and ultimately they don't have the restrictions across the EU that we do now. So there are firms that are really looking at, we're probably better off placing these roles over in those territories. And that will end up happening if the pain continues and these businesses either don't get an easier time from the UK Border Agency to be able to get the visa sorted out, and or if the talent just remains not forthcoming, because they're going to have to scale somehow, and if they're an international business with that potential and opportunity, they'll go where the talent is. Can't find it here, they'll get it elsewhere. But I think reality is a lot of this we'll find is a mid-term challenge because of that migration piece last year. So when people hit the 18-month, 2-year window, we'll start to see more people organically churning in the market. It may start filling the opportunities that are out there. But yeah, it's interesting to hear though that the perception from job seekers hasn't necessarily changed. Certainly there are businesses struggling, I recognise that, and those people typically coming out of those businesses that have struggled are thinking that it's really a business-driven market, i.e. that the business makes the call, they don't have much of a say. I've had a few people saying that they're prepared to drop salary expectations, thinking that there isn't a lot of opportunity out there, and then been really surprised by what they've been hit up by with the number of opportunities that come into their pipeline. There's a guy just the other day that said this to me about dropping his salary expectations. It's just been made redundant, and figured if the opportunities aren't there, I'll make myself more appealing by cutting my price. And then I said to him, just a reality check on it, how many opportunities are you exploring at the moment? And he said 10. And I said, is that application phase? He goes, no, interview. When all of them? I said, yeah, all 10 at interview. How many of them are at latter or final stages now? And he said 4. So I said, there's 4 of 10 at latter or final stages you could potentially be landing an offer from, and you're thinking you need to drop your salary? Realistically, no. 10 opportunities is more than enough for any one person to be trying to juggle right now, and it's going to create organic competition by even just 2 businesses fighting over you if you get an offer from both. There's no need to drop the salary. And comes back to the issue last year, there were businesses that were trying to lowball people, seeing the opportunity, oh, it's turning in our favour, there's so many candidates out there. That's not like that now. So we've got some plum roles kicking around, well weighted on the salary, great employer brands, really good line managers, great prospects in the roles, struggling to attract audiences. And then I spoke to a couple of agency leaders I know in competing agencies, finding out what they're seeing as well, and they're seeing exactly the same. Huge demand, struggling to get the talent to meet that demand. So right now the market is absolutely in the job seeker's favour. So don't undersell yourself. Of course, don't price yourself out of the market. Not every business can reach into the pocket with an infinitely deep bag of cash. But you can always look for an uplift by the look of it now. And as long as you're reasonable on that uplift, then it represents value for your experience. There isn't a need to cut back. On the contractor side, that's a whole different story because of the IR35 situation, but I'll cover that subject separately. Anyway, so if you're out there job searching at the moment and you need some help or want a bit of advice, feel free to reach out to us. My details will be along the bottom here. Otherwise, my name's Colin. Thanks very much for your time, and I'll catch you in the next one.